You'll be leaving with nothing, his lawyer said, eyes gleaming like he just won a game I didn't know we were playing. David, my husband of 12 years, actually laughed. You should have been a better wife, he muttered like it was a punchline. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I just smiled. Because they had no idea what I had in my back pocket. Ever been so underestimated, it's almost insulting? Like the people across the table are already celebrating your defeat before the battle even begins? That was me. Claire Jennings. 38. Mom of twins. I gave up a thriving career in PR to raise our family and help David build his business from our cramped apartment to the mansion we lived in. And now? He wanted to erase me, like I was just a footnote in his success story. But there's something men like David never learn. A woman who knows everything about you also knows how to destroy you. And as I sat in that courtroom, across from his smug lawyer, listening to them joke about me being just another trophy wife, I realized something. They weren't ready. Not for what I was about to say. Because when I opened my mouth, even the judge leaned in. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. Ever had someone look at you like you were disposable? That's exactly how David looked at me when he asked for the divorce. No eye contact. No explanation. Just, it's not working anymore. Like we were canceling a subscription. 12 years. 2 kids. 1 business built from our kitchen table. Gone. In a sentence. I'd given up everything, my job, my body, my 20s, so he could chase success. I stayed up late formatting his pitch decks when he was still begging investors. I coached him before meetings. I was more than a wife. I was his unpaid partner. But suddenly, I was just inconvenient. Want to know the worst part? He didn't even try to hide the reason. She was 29. Her name was Melanie. Blonde, Pilates instructor, and apparently knew how to make green juice that doesn't taste like grass. Great talent. The kicker? He told the kids before he told me. Yeah, our 10-year-old's new daddy was leaving before I did. That should have broken me. He wanted it to. He needed me to collapse, cry, scream. So he could paint me as the irrational, emotional wife. Instead, I did something worse. I stayed calm. And that's when he started getting nervous. Because David knew. I'm only calm when I'm planning. But I wasn't the only one plotting. His lawyer entered the picture next, and he made it clear they didn't just want a divorce. They wanted to bury me. You should just sign it, Claire. Don't drag this out. That's what Peter Lowell, David's lawyer, said the first time we met. He didn't even look up from his overpriced leather briefcase when he said it. Just flicked the prenup across the table like it was already over. He was the kind of man who wore cufflinks in a coffee shop. Smug. Polished. Voice like he was narrating a commercial. And the way he said my name? Like it was a chore. Peter smiled at me like he was doing me a favor. There's no need for drama. This prenup is ironclad. You'll still get something. Then he chuckled. Maybe enough to keep the lights on. I glanced at David. He didn't blink. Didn't flinch. He just sat there, arms crossed, like this was all part of the plan. And it was. Because that prenup? I signed it 12 years ago. Back when David had debt and dreams and I believed in him more than he believed in himself. It said I'd get a small payout if we divorced, assuming he had anything to give. Now, he was sitting on a $14 million business and acting like I was after his money. Peter leaned forward. Let's not waste the court's time. Accept the terms. Be smart. Smart? I smiled back at him. Because what Peter didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I'd already started digging. And what I found would turn their little plan into a ticking time bomb. It started with a phone call. Marcia, I need you. Quietly. Marcia Lynn, my college roommate turned forensic accountant. She once found $80,000 a CEO hid in fake vendor payments. She calls spreadsheets crime scenes. And she loves a good puzzle. So I gave her one, David's finances. On the surface, everything looked clean. Predictable. Just as Peter said, a tidy trail leading back to the prenup and a man who built his empire on his own. But Marcia knew better. Claire, she said a week later, he's sloppy. He thought hiding money under dummy LLCs would fool the court? Amateur hour. Turns out David was funneling cash into shell companies. One of them, I'm not kidding, was called Phoenix Rising LLC. Registered in Nevada. No real address. But money flowed in monthly. Tens of thousands. Disguised as consulting fees. Guess who was listed as the silent partner? Melanie. His Pilates girlfriend. Oh, and that new beach house he rented for work retreats? Bought in cash. Through the LLC. Every lie he told, Marcia traced. Every fake invoice, every off-book wire. It was all there. I printed everything. Bank records. Emails. Tax discrepancies. A full report with dates, names, and enough red ink to make Peter's head spin. I slipped it into a plain black folder. Not a word to David. I smiled at dinner, kissed the kids goodnight, and waited. Because when the hearing came, I wasn't showing up to lose. I was walking in with a bomb. And the moment I opened that folder in court, everything changed. Actually, yes. I'd like to address the court. That's what I said when the judge asked if I had anything to add. Peter smirked. David rolled his eyes like I was about to beg. Instead, I stood up, walked to the bench, and handed the judge my folder. I believe this contains evidence of fraudulent financial activity committed by my husband. The room went silent. You could feel the shift. Peter stopped smiling. David's arms uncrossed. The judge raised an eyebrow and opened the folder like it might bite. I kept my voice steady. These documents show Mr. Jennings concealed assets in at least 3 unreported LLCs, including Phoenix Rising, which purchased a home last year, paid in full, under the guise of corporate retreat expenses. None of which were disclosed. The judge's gaze hardened as she flipped the pages. You compiled this? I had help from a certified forensic accountant. Her affidavit is attached. Peter stood up, flustered. Your Honor, this is unexpected. Sit down, Mr. Lowell, the judge snapped. I'll determine what's relevant. David stared at me like I was someone he'd never met. Because he hadn't. He never met this version of me. The one who wasn't scared. The one who did her homework. The one who refused to be erased. I looked him in the eyes for the first time in weeks. And whispered, you should have been a better husband. Then the judge leaned forward and said 5 words that rewrote the entire game. Motion granted. Ms. Jennings will hear your full case. That was it. 5 words. Spoken without emotion. But they hit like thunder. Peter slumped back in his chair. David? Pale. Sweating. The man who once laughed in my face was now frantically whispering to his lawyer like the walls were closing in because they were. And I just sat there. Calm. Collected. Watching it all unravel. The judge accepted my evidence. Froze David's assets. Ordered a full forensic audit. Suddenly, the prenup wasn't the only thing on the table. Criminal charges were now a possibility. I didn't cheer. I didn't smile. I just breathed. Because after months of being told I was nothing, I finally made them listen. See, I never wanted revenge. I wanted recognition. I wanted the truth. And now, everyone in that courtroom saw it. They saw me. You know what's funny? David always said I was too emotional. Too sensitive. Not ruthless enough. Turns out, I didn't need to be ruthless. I just needed to be ready. So if someone ever tells you you're powerless, if they laugh while stealing what you helped build, let them. Then make your move. If you've ever been underestimated, comment, watch me. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes the best revenge is quiet, calculated justice.